Here to discuss his thoughts on the governor's action to authorize a vote for daycare providers to go union, we have Senator Mike Parry. Thanks for joining us on Capitol Report.
Julie, it's great to be here again.
Senator, I want to begin with the latest. The district court judge recently blocked that pending vote of daycare providers to potentially unionize. So you're in favor of that ruling. Now, in your opinion, what's next?
Well, I think what's next is obviously on January 17th, Judge Lindeman will call his court to order again and hear the case, and we'll be there along with the daycare providers with our, of course, we filed that amicus brief, but we'll be there in their support as well.
The governor's argument thus far has been he wants to authorize an election, and he doesn't understand why there's opposition to an election. Where's the opposition? Well,
I think the biggest opposition right now, Julie, is the fact that we're concerned why an executive order or fiat is needed to discuss the issue, and that's what we're hearing.
And roughly 10 of 14 states did pursue the same issue, though, via executive order. What is it that made you pull back and the GOP in general pull back and say, we don't want to go this direction?
Well, we just felt that the governor, Senator Hand and I felt that the governor was exceeding his scope of constitutionality, his statutory authority in this executive order. I mean, we're talking about private, individual entrepreneurs here. We're not talking about a company that has employees. These are folks that do the best they can and take care of our children in a daycare setting. They've already met the needs of the requirements through the state, and for the governor to order a vote, and specifically a vote that would affect maybe a third of the total providers in the state of Minnesota is just wrong.
And Senator, as chair of State Government Innovations and Veterans Committee, a couple of months ago, you held a hearing on this issue. I want to talk about some of the key points that came up in that hearing. Now, one is from Lisa Thompson. She's a child care provider, and she said essentially the challenge for them as daycare providers is more on the regulatory side. Is this a fair argument to try to incorporate some collective bargaining and have a voice at the table, which seemed to be the message that resonated?
Well, I think most importantly, we have to remember that all daycare providers do have a voice. They have representatives, they have senators that do listen to them and take their concerns to Health and Human Services Department, and we speak about that, obviously, through Senator Hand's committee.
If the concern is on regulation and the regulatory side of things, how would you recommend daycare providers then seek out, maybe in a collective manner, articulating those concerns?
Well, I think they have an organization right now, and that organization, I think, charges them $35 a year and comes to the legislature and, in essence, lobbies for the daycare providers, if you want to call it that. I know there are concerns about there and some of the issues that providers have, but I'm hearing it's more of the enforcement from one county to another that there's a great concern. And I think that has to deal with the knowledge and understanding of any of the laws that we have pertaining to daycare providers.
And let's talk a little bit more about that. What were some of the key messages, in your opinion, that resonated in the hearing? And what would you like to take forward moving into the legislative session?
Well, I think first and foremost, the amount of providers that came forth against this unionization with very, very good reasons. But the inability to, by the union side, to articulate just how this union would come together is concerning to me. It's like trying to do a program without any forethought and organization to it.
In fact, that was also brought up in the hearing. One person stated, essentially, they wanted to know the who's, what's, where's, and why's. All legitimate questions, what will be on the ballot, for example, and why is this even necessary? What's your answer to that? What's your response?
Well, I think I can only go back to what Judge Lindeman questioned and asked the attorneys for the defense. Why not submit this to the legislature? And there was never an answer given. And I think it should be, if the governor wants to move forward, then put a bill together and submit it to the legislature, and let's vet it all over again in the committee process. And that's what the judge said he believes needs to happen.
Okay, my last question for you, we're just about out of time, is Jennifer Munch, who's a spokesperson for the union, stated, our position is child care providers have already voted. If the governor wants them to vote again, that's fine. We're not afraid of an election. And she stated that organizers have been collecting authorization cards from those who favor unionization since 2005. Are you in favor? Would you support daycare providers voting to unionize if they go about this in a different manner?
Well, I think first and foremost, Julie, they need to go about it in a different manner because we had testimony in our committee that the unions were coming to them promising things like wage increases, benefits, health insurance, and also saying, well, if you just sign this card, we'll send you information. So the tactics that are being used by the unions are wrong. People get it, they understand it, and they want no part of it. So I think moving forward, it would behoove the unions to be more credible when they're reaching out in a unionization sense.
Okay, Senator Mike Parry, we will track this, of course, as it continues down the judicial process. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.